sitting on people's desks for years, literally, and nothing was done.
Juvenile sexual assault cases in Cuyahoga County forgotten for months or even years. Thousands listed as inactive, while some of the suspects went on to offend again.
But the On Your Side investigators uncovered something just as troubling about cases that do go to court. Investigator Sarah Buttison spent months digging into sentencing records. And Sarah, you reviewed more than 600 rape cases.
Our investigative team looked at 3 years of data. We found in hundreds of cases, accused rapists were sentenced to little or no time behind bars, leaving victims like Sarah, whose story you're about to hear, angry and frustrated. It was supposed to be a date. They met online. He hooked her with his uniform.
I was so trusting of him because he was a police officer.
So after months of exchanging messages, Sarah agreed to meet Shane Porter at the Metro Parks. But things quickly got weird.
He kept on doing all these police maneuvers with moving my arm behind my back.
Then turned violent.
The whole time, he was just holding my head down onto him, saying, you don't get any breaks. You don't get to breathe until I'm finished.
Sarah says she was raped.
I just wanted to drown. I just wanted to drown. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to be in my body.
She did want to press charges, but just before her trial was scheduled to start, the once gung-ho prosecutor changed his tune. Porter got a plea deal. Instead of facing decades behind bars, he now faced no more than a few years. Is that justice?
No. No, not even in any sense of the word.
So we reviewed every rape case filed in Cuyahoga County over the last 3 years, more than 600. We found many mimic Sarah's story. 9 out of 10 defendants struck plea deals, leading to reduced charges. The average sentence, just 5.5 years. Does that indicate the system is broken?
It indicates that there's a serious problem with the system.
Patricia Falk is a law professor at Cleveland State and an expert in Ohio's rape laws.
A light sentence sends a bad message, right? That we don't really care, that this behavior is not that bad.
We also found 261 defendants were sentenced to less than 3 years, the minimum for a first-degree felony like rape. 88 didn't spend a single day behind bars, including Clarence People and Samuel Polechka, both accused of raping 5-year-old girls. Doesn't that suggest you're not being aggressive enough when it comes to these plea deals?
I appreciate the thought process.
Rick Bell is an assistant county prosecutor and has tried rape cases for Cuyahoga County for close to 30 years.
We have to deal with the practicalities of what's going to happen in the courtroom. If you go to trial on a case that's not as strong as other cases, you run the risk for the community that we represent of losing that case.
But light sentences are even more troubling when you look at this new study on serial rapists.
First of all, there's significantly more of them than we thought we would find.
Daniel Flannery is the director of the Begun Center for Violence at Case. At the county's request, their researchers reviewed about 300 of the county's sexual assault kits and found about half were serial offenders.
We have a significant number of offenders who, if you look hard enough and investigate thoroughly enough, are linked to many other cases.
And because of that, we're trying to expose these rapists and make sure that they get the harshest sentence that they can.
So why is the average sentence for accused rapists 5.3 years?
That's something that you're going to have to ask the court.
Bell blames the judges who ultimately decide the fate of those rapists.
I've explained. We go forward on every case asking for the most time that we can. It's up to the court to decide whether or not they wish to do that.
We are here for sentencing.
Take what happened when Sarah's case went to court.
Mr. Porter pled guilty to an amended count 2.
Her hopes of a harsh sentence dashed, she still wasn't prepared for what happened next.
I believe that it was consensual.
Shane tearfully told the court he was sorry, not for hurting her, but for lying to detectives. Remember how he said he was a police officer? He wasn't.
I don't know where the truth lies.
Then Judge Stephen Gall made it clear he had doubts about Sarah's story.
I wish I had a crystal ball and we were able to figure out what really happened.
He sentenced Porter to just 30 days.
30 days for a rape charge. When you're indicted on rape, I can't tell anybody who comes up to me and asks me if they should go to the police or if they should press charges or not, and look at them and say, yeah, you should, because it'll turn out good.
That's a strong statement. So Cuyahoga prosecutors want you to know they encourage rape victims to come forward and press charges. By the way, the problems faced by prosecutors here, they're not unique. Federal data shows the probability of a defendant charged with rape getting convicted of rape is just 35%. On your side, I'm investigator Sarah Buttison, News 5.